Boom, 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 boom. Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be looking at a Minesweeper game played by Mr. HC the Pro, which is a game played for efficiency, which if you don't know what that is, basically the point of efficiency is to try and solve a game in as few clicks as possible. So for this game, like the time doesn't matter and stuff like that. All that matters is that you get a win and you get it done in as few clicks as possible. So like anything you can do to save clicks and stuff is going to be beneficial. And this game is a pretty high efficiency. So 136. So like that's like definitely much better than a lot of people can do. But there's still some areas in the game where there are some questionable decisions made. Sometimes they worked out, I think, and sometimes they it didn't. So I'm just gonna I have some notes written down about what I thought about that, and I'm just gonna be looking at the game and going over them. So what we're starting off with is going for all the corners, and right away he goes for 1, 2, and 3, and then stops and doesn't go for this one down here. Which in this game it actually turned out pretty well for him, because if you look at the how the final board was actually, you can see in the bottom left corner there's this one here. What actually ends up happening is ends up recording this, flagging this, and flagging this. So he actually did save a click by not clicking on this corner here. Whereas, this corner and this corner didn't really end up wasting clicks. And actually, this 2 here actually gave him info that he needed to solve the game. So he kind of got lucky here with what he did and didn't uncover with his corners. But in general, like when I'm starting a game, what I try and do is I try to go for a game that just has like, 2 or 3 openings at least before I keep going. But, in this case, he didn't really need that, and it was fine. But yeah. So he starts off with, a flag over here to go for chord up the top. Personally, what I would do is I would, I also like to go for really risky plays at the start, like here. And like here, for example, here's a pretty good chord to go for, because you have, a flag here, and you clear 1, 2, 3, 4 different squares, which is pretty big. But, he doesn't go for that here. And he goes for something a little bit safer, which is kind of fine. And it's going well for him, but then he kind of hits a bit of a wall, because here you don't really know what to do. Alright, you know that like one of these is going to be a mine. If you can know which one of these is a mine, that's really good. But like down here you have nothing. Down here you could maybe flag this, but then like you get a 2 here. It's not really good. So, he goes for a click here, hoping to get some info. Doesn't really help him out too much. It was like, I guess, I was also hoping for a 2 here, which would have been pretty good. But then, he goes for the thing here, which is what I would have started off with. And then here it's, a bit interesting. It looks like going for this one would have been better than this one. But, I think going for here turns out to be pretty reasonable, because you clear this 3 up here, which is good. You wouldn't have gotten with this with the chord on this, but you did end up hitting the opening. So here and here would have cleared about the same. But if you go for here, you'd have cleared this one, and here this square would have only been really cleared by either a chord here, or clicking here, or maybe if you like click over here and get a 1, but like that wasn't really likely to happen. So I think chording here looks a little bit looks like it might not be the best move, but it turns out to be actually good. And then over here he chords this, which looks like it should be pretty big, but ends up just hitting opening. But you're not really going to improve on that much anyway, so it's pretty fine. And so now, obviously this move is pretty good, because you have the 1, 2, 2, 1 here, and the this is mine. So clear, 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 clear. Place the flag here, get a big chord, which is very good, because you get some 1s, and you can chord them off too, to get some 3 squares cleared for free. Bam, bam, bam. Pretty nice. So far, no real big complaints from me. But now he's thinking a little bit. doesn't know what to do. And he goes for the click here to try and get some info. Personally, I'm not really a big fan of that move. You know, obviously, like, what you want to do is try and figure out, like, which one of these is a mine. You have the 3 here and the 2 here. So, mine here, here, and here. And, there's a 2 here. You can flag here, which is what he does. But what I personally would have done is I would have gone for, like, say, something up here. Maybe flag this one and gone up this way. And tried to clear squares up here to try and figure out along the lines of ones here what to do. Also, down here, I would have gone for maybe this one in the middle here. Flag here and chord, because these are all like, solid chords that probably aren't going to be too bad. Like 2 for 1s, which is what he does here. A 2 for 1. Because, he figures out this is solved. But I would have gone for like this one or this one up first. Because, if you manage to find more info, you might be able to save this click here by figuring out this is a mine and doing a 3 for 1 chord instead first. But, it's fine. He gets the 1 here for the 3 for 1 chord. And then, a 5 for 1, which is all pretty good. So we like that quite a bit. Do-do-do. And then we click here, which is, I don't know, a bit of a waste because, I'm thinking like maybe we can chord this if we end up flagging this one and doing a chord like this, for example, but, it's fine. Also, we already knew that this is going to be a 2 because we know this is clear and this is clear, so this doesn't really tell us anything. It's just like, it's not really a click that you need to go for yet. And here we have the 8C special where he clicks for a potential 1 and then gets rewarded with a big chord. Here it, worked out pretty well. We knew this was clear and then this was clear. But we don't know that these down the below are going to be clear, so it's a bit of a risk. Because if he gets a 2 here or 3 here, then it's kind of, becomes a bit of a wasted click because, you're better off going for like, say something like this, like flagging here and chording and getting this square with the chord instead of the click. But because you got the 1 here and got the 5 for 1, it's good. So this seems to be like his play style pretty much. Is you'll see a lot of these where he clicks on a square, which must be a 1. Sometimes it is a 1 and it gets rewarded, and sometimes it's like it's not, and then it's not as good. Clicking on this and didn't really need to do that, but it doesn't really hurt because there's like nothing really gonna clear that out. Here again, he tries to go for something pretty nice. Finds a 2 here, which is good. Reward again. Again, I would have gone for like say something down here, flagged this and chorded, which would have revealed like this 2, which would have been a good chord. Going like here, here, and here, versus like here, and then flagging here. But he finds this 1, which is pretty good. Obviously this 1, chording it is like pretty likely at the opening, but it's pretty much a free click because you also get this square revealed. So you basically get 2 clicks off the 1 chord. So it's ends up being fine. And you can chord up this way. Pretty good stuff. And here is like, this move here is pretty fine. You flag here and chord here and here. Personally, like, I prefer to try and get my flags like, more towards the middle of where the action is. You place this flag here and you get a 2 for 1, which is pretty good. And because, this one is clear, you have a pretty good chance of hitting the 1 here for follow-up. But personally, I prefer to go for something, more centralized, like a flag up here to chord up, or flag here to get, these chords. You can get the same kind of concept over here. Flag here, and then this is like a bit more towards the middle of, same chance to get the same thing here as you do over here. But, this 1 here is also like, could be used off this 2 and stuff, so I think it's a little bit more useful going that way. But overall, it's like not a big deal. Here again, he clicks on this square. Okay, here we go. Here's another one of the clicking to find a 1, which he does a lot. It's another case where it works out really well for him, So you know here and here is clear. We don't know about these squares at the moment, but if they are clear, then we know that there's going to be a flag here. And I think this case, because of the really good reward fit, I think it's worth going for this, probably. Like, I play with this guess, I think. And you get a really big chord off that, which reveals some more ones, and you just keep going here. And then you get this 1-2-1 here, which gives a very nice chord off that, which is very good. Do-do-do. And then this click, I'm not really a big fan of, just revealing this square. What I personally would have done is I would have flagged this one here and chorded that, or at least, left up the possibility of doing it, because this is another click that doesn't reveal any information, and might not be great. So I would have waited here. Also, what I want to be doing here is instead of going over this way, is I want to keep going with this, because you have, a flag here, right, that you can place, and you get a 3-4 off the top and a 2-4 off the left. And that's pretty much better than anything you can do over in this area, which is where HC is going next. So again, he goes for the special, guess for chord thing, which is, again, working out well for him. Because we do know, personally what I would have done is I probably would have gone flag here and here, gone with the 2, and then off the 3, if I wasn't going to go for, these squares over here. But, finding the 1 here, again, works out very well for him. So I feel like, so far, he's gotten pretty lucky with his placing 1s and getting big chords of it. And we'll see where he keeps going. So here he makes the move I was talking about a bit earlier, where he should have placed this flag here, gone for a chord up here and to the left, which is what he does now. And then he reveals some 1s along the way, chords them up. Here, does a flag here and a chord. A little bit of a risky chord here because you have good opening chances opening 4-4-1 that's like just open, off and open like this. Because if all these squares are free, for example, you get an opening. But, it's, the reward is too good to pass up, so you definitely want to, do those anyway. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Yeah, so he does the, the 3-2-3. This is basically a 1-2-1 here. This is the chord I wanted to do, way earlier, before we cleared, anything past here. When he did, the click here to try and find. When he did this click, this is the chord I wanted to do before to try and find some info. Which in this case wouldn't have really led to that much, but, you can see it's something I ended up doing anyway. That one's decent. That one's also decent. Do-do-do. And then here. So this is another case where he goes for a click that might be a 1 to try and get a big chord off it. Because this is free, this is free. This is mine. Obviously if you get a 1 here, it's a big reward. But in this case it didn't really work out for him because you have a 2. So now it's this one and then one of the 1s off the top. So again, this is not really something I would go for. Do-do-do-do-do. So now it's probably going to be a wasted click if you could have cleared this with a good chord somewhere. But then he gets this one here. Same kind of idea. And this one gets the 1. Obviously, he could have just gone for this right away. And it would have been better, but, he wouldn't have known. This also could have been a 2, for example. So, there we go. Awarded a bit. Now it's kind of just, clicking around, trying to dig for stuff. Personally, not great. Just kind of throwing a lot of clicks, trying to find something to do. Not something I'd do that. I'd go for something over here, try and chord this. Or this 2-2 here, I'd go for click here off the side. Maybe you get a 1. And you can kind of go up this way. Or maybe here and here is another, move I'd be looking at. Before going for random clicks up here. And then again, this is not really going to be very useful. You get like, maybe you get a 2 here, and it's like, not a big reward. And then this click, he finds the 1 he was kind of looking for. Personally, what I would do here is I would do click here, and just kind of quad this 2, which would have revealed this 1. Which would have been like, spends an extra click here, placing the flag, but it's not too bad because, the flag might be useful. So, it's a bit of a safer route kind of going that way if you want to guess around here. But he gets his big quad off, which is pretty nice finally. Here, this move doesn't really make all that much sense because, you click here, you're going to get what, maybe a 2. Not very useful info at the moment. Not really an area to go for yet. And then over here, you click the 4. Doesn't really make any sense. You know that there's going to be 1, 2, 3 at least. So like you get a 3 here, and then it doesn't really do much for you. And then if you want to guess that like, this is a square, then, maybe you'd want to go like down here instead. Right? And then you might get a 1, and you could click here, and you get a flag here, and then maybe you can do some chords off to the left instead. Would have been probably a bit of a better to go for, but, this area probably not worth going for yet. Here again, he tries to go for the 1 here again, and this one is not really that likely to pay off again, because like, you don't know which of these 2 is going to be a mine, and this 3 is going to have a mine up here in order to be a 1, and then even if you did get a 1 here, it's a 1 and 3 pretty much to get a big hold off. So again, a bit risky, not really rewarded that much for it, so I don't know about it. But anyway, let's keep going. Doing, more clicks, looking for those HC quads that he likes to do. Dinging around. Way to go. Here's another click, another click. There we go. So here, we finally find another thing to quad off. Personally, I still would have gone for, I think, over here. You might get a 1 over here, which in the actual game, it turns out you do. You have the 1 here. You like quad here, click up here, and up here. But, he finds this too. It's a bit of a risky play here, doing the flag here and quadding, because these are all clear and you're right next to the edge. So if you don't have any mines in these squares, you'll hit an opening up here. So that's like a bit risky, but he goes for that and doesn't hit it. And so now, you have some potential really good quads, but you don't know what's going to be what. So personally, I'd want to be going around the side again, like up this way, trying to find which of these are mine. Maybe going from the right somewhere if we can find good quads that way. But he kind of does some clicking around. Clicks here, finds the 3. Not very useful, unfortunately. It's got a, keep going. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to point out a few seconds ago. Here you have a, this is a mine because of the 3-1-3. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1. So you could flag this, and instead he just clicks to the right here, which is not good. And because he ends up flagging this one anyway, and then he ends up doing a click there. So he clicks here and places a flag here. If it a few seconds ago placed a flag here and then quadded, this would have saved a click there. And I think that's what I would have done. It also would have made this quad a lot more, reasonable. And so now he's just kind of going off to the left, trying to find some moves to do, and he's kind of stuck here. There's a bit of a, risk here of finding an opening up here. You have to watch out for. Now he's clicking around this way again. These clicks might not be super good. Going down here gives you the flag and a potential to caught up this way and maybe find some better moves. Alright, he finds a 3 here, so we know flag here and flag here, and that these are clear. Goes up here, hoping for a 1 here, doesn't find it, so has to keep going, looking for something. So now at this point, we know flag here, here, and here. There's going to be an opening here. So what you want to do here is go for this immediately, because you might clear some stuff out here and get some actual good moves out. And instead he doesn't do that. And he keeps going to the right, which is a bit risky, because these squares, might be uncovered by an opening up here. Which he doesn't, which he finally gets to. Fortunately, these clicks here weren't uncovered by the opening, so he didn't waste any clicks there. But it still, wasn't great to be doing that. Okay. So finally he does the move I was talking about earlier, where he goes for this here and finds the 1. And instead of courting it, he clicks up here and does the 8C again, because now he knows that this is a mine, because of 1, 2, these are clear, 3. Does the quad off this. Hits the opening here, so he only really, gets 1 click out of it. But he gets the flag and can save a click from doing that quad. So it worked out pretty well for him. Now he clears up the corner. Moving on to the left. Click in here, not too bad. Click in here, gives a 3. So now we know, fishing for more info. Which, now that we're most of the way through the board, you want to play a bit more safe. Do some info clicks, not guessing everything. Now, another one of the HC guesses. Because we know, this is clear. These are mines. Here's a 1. Again, pretty well spotted HC chord. Found the 1. Does hit the opening there, but it clears stuff over here and here. So overall, pretty good. Does the chord down the bottom. Here's another case where he's trying to find the 1. Doesn't get it. A bit unfortunate. And he clears right above here. Probably not really a good move, because there's a possibility that you could find the other mine on this too, and do a flag here or here, and then chord to clear 1, 2, and then you have a flag here, and you might go off to the left. And he ends up clicking here, which clicking this square could have given info on if one of these was a mine, and use that to chord along. So here's a bit of an unnecessary click, because you already know that there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So if you know what number is going to be when you click it, and it's something that might be uncovered later on with the chord, then it's probably best to just leave it until later on, But overall, didn't end up really hurting that much. So now we're going down the bottom. Here's the same concept I was talking about over here, where you kind of click down the bottom here, get the 1, and kind of go along the bottom, hoping to get some chords. Here you get to thing in the middle. And now it's kind of out of really good moves, so he's going to have to, fish around a bit, trying to find some stuff. So it goes, I don't know, up here is pretty likely safe, because you have this 4 here. So he clicks it, gets a 3, it tells us all these. 4, 1, 2, 3. No, just down here. Yeah. There we go. He finds the 1 here. A bit of a wasted click. So in this case, you know that 1, 2, 3 is all going to be clear. So you know that this and this are going to be clear. Clicking here, you know it's going to be like, you know, at least a 2, because you have mines here and here. Whereas here, you get the 1. And if you do get the 1 here, you can flag here and chord, which would be clearing this square for free, which is what he ends up doing. So clicking that, it just ends up being a wasted click. Bam. And then, you know, pretty nice stuff here. He skips these squares, because you know there's this is clear and this is clear, and flags this and chords, which is good because you know this square is going to be possibly a you know, useful later on. He gets a 1, does some nice combination of chords here, here, and here. Now he's at a bit of a wall again, lots of 3s and 2s. So he goes up this way, clicks here, hoping to, you know, get a 1 or something, and doesn't quite get it. Personally, what I would have done is, you can see that there's a flag here and a flag here. So these are clear. So this is basically a 1, 1, 1. You know, this is clear. There's 2 points to this and this. So I would have just placed a flag here and chorded, which is kind of the same as like if you got a 1 here and did a big chord, but also is like, you know, could be more rewarding because you could go for a 1 at the top and the bottom. So personally, I think, you know, going for that isn't as good as doing flag here and chord. So he ends up throwing around some clicks, clicking down this way, and then getting the 1 and the 2. You could have, if you'd gone for this guess first, this click first, not a guess, you'd have had a flag here and a chord, and you'd have had these squares cleared that you just left clicked away, while also having a flag here, which, you know, might be useful later on. You know, in general, you always want to go for, like, if you can do the same thing with flags versus without, you want to just do whatever gives you the flag. And so now we're kind of just trying to find, you know, regular solutions to the board. He goes for this one and then this one. I would have gone for this one first, this click, because, you know, you have like 2 here and you have a 3 here. So this square is like a bit more likely to give you like a lower number. Like you could get a 2 here, which would be a good chord, whereas like here, you get like maybe a 3 and it's not quite as good. And then, you know, last, you know, guaranteed click here. Finally get something pretty useful. The 2 can be corded off pretty well. Not bad. And you get 4 here, and then to the left is the opening. And this ending here, not really too much to say about it really. So here's a case where he gets 2 off this chord, which if he'd gone for all the corners at the start, this would have been a wasted click, because he gets 2 for 1 off this, including the corner click. Doo-doo-doo. No, he's right at the end. And what does HC do? Does he manually count every single mine in the game? Of course not. Does he guess like a Chad? No. He uses the hint button and reveals that these are all safe. And because you got a bunch of mines here and mines here, all you can do is just like click, 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 click. You know. 3, doo-doo-doo. That's a 2. And then done. So overall, pretty good. A few cases of, you know, mines could have been saved. Definitely a pretty interesting playstyle where you go for a lot of, you know, you're trying to fish for like the big chords off the 1s and stuff. Sometimes it pays off very nicely, and then sometimes it doesn't really pay off, and you're kind of wasting clicks and not getting anywhere. Pretty interesting game. Hopefully, I don't know, you got something out of this video and this analysis. See you.